going on, everyone? LeoBlade13 here, welcoming you back to another Dragoborne Let's Talk. So today we're going to be discussing some of these green creatures that have been out for quite a while. They were revealed while I was busy with everything going on, so haven't had any time to discuss them, and with all the new cards coming out, I have been discussing them, but I figured it's finally time to go back and talk about some of these. So first up, we have a 3-drop Gifted Geomancer. She has 3 attack and 3 endurance, with an active ability of siphoning 2, then you name a color, and you may pay the cost of the next card you play for this turn as though it was the named color. If you siphoned a yellow die for this ability's cost, draw a card and discard a card from your hand. So, more of that rainbow support that we have been seeing from Rally to War, such as Tanglewood Druid, I believe was the name of the card, and Storm Branch, I believe was also another one, as well as Chromatic Disturbance. So just more adding to that, and it'll be really interesting to see a 5-color deck in the future. And I really love this card's art. I love the different crystals floating around her in each of the different colors. And it's cool that they're having this ability where you siphon a yellow die, you get a bonus effect. So I think that's really interesting. There are a few other cards that have extra little effects if you siphon a particular colored dice, and I think it's really interesting. They had said that this set was going to focus a lot on changing the dice value, so I'm curious to see what the next set is going to hold. But anyways, then this creature has a continuous Dragocross ability, which is this creature cannot be chosen by spells. So, does get around Raid, that amazing red card, but Zarko can still destroy it. So, it is definitely a decent card. I wouldn't call it great, but I can see some potential for it. But next up we have Violent Gale. So this is a 3-cost spell, and this is really strong. So it's choose one of your creatures, and it gets the following effect. When this creature is blocked by a creature, deal damage to all opposing creatures equal to this creature's attack for this turn. So if you have a really strong card that is forcing your opponent to block, you can wipe out their entire field. And the first thing that comes to mind with this is Springleaf Angel, where it gets +1/+1 for each of your green resources. That means that if you summon that card, it's a 5-drop, so that would be turn 2, you're up to 5. So playing it on the following turn, assuming, it would be up to a 6/6. And that would mean you're doing 6 damage to each of your opponent's creatures, and early game, I don't think anything is surviving that. But then it has a reference, green 6, the opposing creature must be blocked if able. So if you're lucky enough to roll a green 6, you aren't going to need to depend on Springleaf Angel. You could rely more on Remus or something like that, but of course Remus you're going to be wanting to hit the fort, as well as with Terex. So I think Springleaf Angel is definitely one of the better choices. And it would be really awesome if you could combo this with Power of a Conqueror. Target the same creature, then it must be blocked, it does piercing damage, and you get to wipe out your opponent's field. I think that's going to be really cool, and just kind of a fun gimmicky deck. I don't think it'll actually win any tournaments, but I do definitely like this card, and I'm excited to see what it does. And our final card for today is Voice of the Living World. This is kind of that same art that we saw with Spellweaver Magus, but I actually like her art. I wasn't a fan of Spellweavers, but I really like this card. But it does look like the same art. Can't really see the illustrator's name too well, but I could go compare it to Spellweaver later. But I do think it is the same artist. But anyways, this is a 3-drop with 2 attack, 3 endurance, with her first effect being the first creature you play during your turn costs 1 less to play. This ability cannot reduce the cost to 0 or less. So she does have to be on the field, and so you can activate it, which means that you can't use it on the turn she is summoned. You would have to wait at least 1 turn after you summon her. But after that, if you can keep her alive, you're getting additional value every single turn, which I really love. their Fleetwing Sprite would only cost 1 to play, and it instantly replaces it. So you're essentially getting a free Fleetwing Sprite on the field, which I really like. Can't think of anyone else that'll give you that quick of a value, but stuff that cost 1 or less would still cost 1 because it can't reduce the value to 0. So all the 2-drops are going to be really great. You could summon Terrax for 3 if this was late game, because if 2 of your forts are destroyed, Terrax's cost goes down to 4, and then costs 1 less. You could play it for 3. That'd be kind of awesome. And then it also has the ability, when this creature is Drago crossed, the next green creature you play for this turn costs 1 less to play, and then can't reduce the cost to 0 or less. So this ability can be activated during the turn she's summoned, and does lower the cost. I would guess if you had multiples of these on the field, they would all reduce the cost. So if you had all 4 on the field, you could probably be playing like a Remus for 2. That would be crazy. So by the wording, I believe that it works that way, unless it's just kind of a blanket effect, like the next creature costs 1 less to play, which I guess that makes a lot more sense. But let me know down below what you think of that effect. I'm going with the latter and assuming that they don't stack, because it just says they cost 1 less to play, not reduce the cost by 1. So yeah, still a great card, being able to reduce the value, and it's not green specific, at least her first ability isn't. So it does work in other color decks. You could be playing Darion for 1, Teriel for 2, which is pretty awesome. But I think this is a really cool card, and I think all of these are really awesome, and I'm really excited for this set. So let me know down below which one of these was your favorite, which color are you most excited for, and be sure to check out Dragoracle, which is where, of course, this picture came from, and also check out the Facebook page as well as my Twitter, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future content. But as always, thanks for watching.